What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my latest video series that I'm calling the Strange Cinema Series, where I take a look back and talk about all the weird oddities in movie history, all the movies that make you go, what is this and how the heck did this get made? And I'm starting off with a film that might just be the weirdest movie ever made, 1980's Forbidden Zone, directed by Richard Elfman. Now, if that name Richard Elfman sounds familiar, it's because he's the brother of legendary composer Danny Elfman, who composed some of the most iconic film scores of all time, including Batman, Spider-Man, Mission Impossible, and over 100 others. He made the music to many of the most iconic films of the past 44 years. But the very first movie that he worked on was his brother's Forbidden Zone. And as the first film in this series where I'll be trying to find the weirdest movie ever made, this one is going to be hard to top. This movie has a human chandelier, a dancing frogman, a lip-synced musical number to some Cab Calloway, blackface, an animated intro, stop motion, a guy named Squeeze It in a trash can, Hervé Villechaize playing the trumpet, and whatever this is. And that's all only in the first 10 minutes of the movie. This surrealist musical comedy is one of the most unique film watching experiences that I've ever had. The film was based on the stage performances of the Elfman Brothers theater troupe, the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, and it's a cross between the aesthetic of early silent film but the imagery and ideology of a drug-induced circus set nightmare. The film revolves around the Hercules family, who travel to an alternate universe through a portal in their basement. If I'm being honest, the plot isn't really that important. It's just there to string along a sequence of wacky scenes that are meant to leave the audience somewhere between bewitched and befuddled. Everything from the plot, to the set design, to the casting, was deliberately picked to be out of the ordinary. The sets look like they were made entirely from paper and crayons. When the movie was originally released, it was black and white, giving it a more German expressionistic look. But when it was re-released in 2009, they colorized the entire thing, giving it the feeling of a kid's TV show, almost making it feel like a Nick Jr. nightmare. Even just the way they cast the main family was odd. They cast an old man to play a little kid, and a guy who's younger than him to play the grandpa. Marie Pascale Elfman, the director's wife at the time, plays the role of Frenchie, and she's essentially the lead role. She's by far my favorite performer in the film, giving a performance that I'm not sure if it's incredible or horrible, but either way I can't stop watching her. The school scene is like a Where's Waldo of chaos. The little kid shoots heroin, the teacher has a machine gun, Hitler is in the front row, and they keep showing whatever the fuck these guys are. Frenchie has her own lip sync solo, and the whole scene ends in a full-on shootout. We got a glimpse into the Forbidden Zone in the beginning, but the fun doesn't really start until Frenchie slips and falls into the void. To get into the sixth dimension, she goes into a mouth, through these otherworldly intestines, and then she literally gets pooped out the other side. And that's really where shit starts going off the rails. We get another look at these two doing whatever this is. These two guys are the Kipper Kids, a couple of comedic performance artists from that era, and they're my favorite piece of the movie. Every time they come on the screen, I am just flabbergasted by what I'm seeing. Then this kid in Mickey Mouse ears comes out and they use this horrible effect to put someone else's mouth on his face to sing a song. Supposedly this kid froze up while they were shooting, and he wouldn't move his mouth right. So they just said screw it and we'll fix it in post, which is somehow even more shocking than if this was planned. After the kid gets done, Frenchie steps in to tango with Mr. Frogman, while the Kipper Kids grunt and make fart noises to the beat. And the scene ends in a way that is somehow a perfect send-off to the madness that it was. In the next scene, Frenchie is formally introduced to the King and Queen, played by Susan Tyrrell and Hervé Villechaize, who you may know from his most famous roles on Fantasy Island and in the James Bond film The Man with the Golden Gun. Hervé and Susan were actually dating in real life at the time that this was made, and they have such interesting chemistry together. They bring a lot of respectability to the film as two of the only real actors in the cast, and every scene with the two of them is very captivating. All of the acting in this movie is way over the top, oozing with camp, and these two match that high level of wackiness, but ground it in a bit of screen-grabbing gravitas.
A zombie Marine Corps, a zombie Navy Corps, a zombie Space Cadet.
You're really out to lunch. Look at this world you've cooked up. And you expect to take over another universe? Ah, you dumb fuck!
Each character in this movie is hilarious in their own way. Squeeze It and the little brother old man are the funniest to me just because of how strangely sexual they are, with the kid humping everything in sight, and Squeeze It being, I guess, a homosexual chicken man. It would be easy for this movie to just rely on shock value and not commit to the comedy, but it takes each piece of itself seriously. No moment is wasted, with them throwing a joke into every inch of each frame. Even with the low budget look, you can tell how much care was put into the making of this movie. There's multiple animated scenes which all rip, and every side and background character has their own quirk that is personal to them. Much of the cast even put their checks back into the production budget and would spend the weekends helping to build sets. At the end of the movie, Danny Elfman gets in front of the camera to play the big bad, Satan, and perform a pretty epic rendition of Minnie the Moocher. This man has been responsible for so many of the most iconic sounds in movie history, so it's very cool to see where he got his start. This movie is a little bit sexist and a little bit racist and a little bit homophobic and a little bit of everything else too. I won't even say it was because of the time that it was released, because it's not really of any time. This literally feels like a movie from another dimension, unlike anything else that was ever made. I'm sure that most people who watch this will hate it, but I actually kind of love this thing. It really blows my mind that it even exists at all. In this video series, I'll be trying to find the weirdest movie ever made, and I highly doubt that whatever comes next will be able to match the weirdness of Forbidden Zone. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let me know down in the comments, have you seen this movie, and if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Also, let me know what other weird movies should I cover in this series. It really could be anything, it doesn't have to be this odd. It could just be something that's a little strange. I'm just looking for some more movies to cover and I want to have some fun with it. So drop whatever you think down in the comments. And anyways, if you love movies and want to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that is greatly appreciated. And I have a ton more headed your guys' way, so stay tuned, stay safe, and stay deaf. Thanks for watching.